Hi everyone, Jeanne Truett here. Today I'm going to demonstrate my favorite exercise to train walk turns and over time develop them into Canter Pirouettes. I am riding Divo, owned by my student Jeanne Brose, and my own Taffy, who I bought for $1 to save for euthanasia after he broke his left hind cannon bone in a barn accident a couple of years prior. I then developed him from his basic walk trot canter education to Grand Prix in 6 years. I look forward to sharing more about him and his story in future videos. Please enjoy. Before we get started, I want to thank my sponsors whose support and investment along my journey has been instrumental in helping me achieve my goals. I stand behind their products and services and happily recommend them to every horse owner. To start, you need to ensure a clear walk rhythm on a small circle with the inside hind leg stepping forward and behind the inside front leg. If instead the inside hind leg steps to the inside track of the inside front leg, you have a haunches in, which is incorrect for a walk turn of any size. Divo has very long strides, so I have to be careful to keep the clear rhythm while asking him to shorten the stride length. Keep in mind, when riding toward the horse's hollow or concave side, their body is already set up to travel slightly haunches in, making it more challenging to keep the left feet on the left train track and the right feet on the right train track. It's also important to ensure the inside hind leg doesn't take a shorter step than the outside hind leg. When it does, send the horse forward, enlarging the circle from your inside leg. Remember, the first step of the turn is always the inside front leg because the shoulders must rotate around the haunches. If the turn starts from the inside hind leg, then it's doing haunches in and has lost the difficulty of the movement, requiring the horse to load and rotate around the inside hind. You can see here that as I ask for smaller steps in circle size, Divo is starting to lose the walk rhythm because his left legs are no longer making clear V's and the right legs as well. The tempo has also stopped being 1, 2, 3, 4 and is now 1, 2, 3, 4. Rhythm irregularities usually start from the horse tightening his back and neck. So to repair the rhythm, send the horse forward again, focusing on getting the back and neck to be supple and swing. You can clearly see the rhythm changing here when I challenge him for a smaller circle. If you count out loud, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see that I'm sending him out onto a slightly larger circle when he loses the rhythm, and I ask for a little more collection when I get it back and challenge him again. If you have a horse with a fragile walk rhythm, it's best to know thy enemy, meaning don't stress when you lose it because that's your opportunity to learn what it takes to clarify it. Now we see Divo going right toward his stiff or convex side. Common issues turning toward the stiff side are that the horse will rotate too quickly because they carry their withers slightly tilted toward the stiff shoulder, overweighting that front foot. They also often step out with the outside hind foot so they can wind up spinning around the middle like a carousel horse rotating around its pole. This is why it's typically easier to turn toward the stiff side than the hollow. The tendency to fall right also makes getting true rib cage bend more challenging. I always start my turns by dropping my weight into the inside seat bone and closing my inside leg when the inside hind foot leaves the ground to get the horse to shift weight into the inside hind leg by stepping deeper but without slowing down. Then I move the inside rein slightly in when the inside front foot leaves the ground to alter its flight path slightly more to the inside. Then I close the outside leg and rein to get the outside legs to also keep up with the inside legs while they're stepping in. If you feel that you lose the forward active reach of the inside hind leg or the pureness of the rhythm, then just enlarge the circle again and start over. I really enjoy teaching detailed movements like this because they encourage horses to experiment like we see Divo doing here. Occasionally, you can see his haunches wobble a little in or out as he figures out how to send his hind leg energy into a more up and down movement by flexing his joints instead of his normal long swinging hind leg movement. We can also see him play with his head and neck position by getting momentarily deep, resulting in stiffened shoulders, causing his front feet to goose step. Rewarding experimentation is how horses learn best, so I always encourage them to experiment to find the right answer. This method of training makes learning more like play through two-way conversation. Here I asked Divo for the next level of difficulty in this exercise. Walk turn to collected canter on a turning small circle, which is a great way to begin to introduce horses to the requirements of working pirouettes. I have never done this exercise with him before this video, so the first go through was impressive. He loses some balance in the return to walk transition, but then the second try I asked for more collection from the first step of canter. You can see he had to experiment with where to send his hind leg energy and wound up with both back feet on the ground in the first two strides. But then he found a new impressive level of engagement. Now we do the same exercise toward the more difficult hollow side. I am less concerned about insisting that the circle stay small in this direction because it is so much harder. Instead, I stay focused on the correctness of the bend, fluidity of transitions, and increasing the engagement. A great way to work on these items is moving into haunches in while on a circle, which we demonstrate at the end here. Here I'm riding my Grand Prix horse, Taffy, in the same turning exercise to demonstrate its usefulness all the way up the levels. Taffy shows good activity with flexing joints in an active walk that has good longitudinal balance. Even when I school Taffy through this exercise, I keep the circumference big to avoid muscle fatigue. I am always working to improve Taffy's self-carriage and staying in front of my leg. Here you can see me doing very minimal aids to maintain the canter, his positioning and rotation. It's taken many years of dripping water on this rock, so to speak, to get to the point that I don't have to help him every stride. If your horse tries to push past your leg or hand, a quick correction to remind him to stay within the boundaries you set is necessary. Pirouettes and piaffe are especially hard for him because he has a long back and is slightly croup high. Despite his conformational challenges, he demonstrates ability to rock his weight back and lift his shoulders, albeit he'd prefer to lift by using his neck to help elevate his shoulders, instead of the more challenging abdominal, pecs, and thoracic sling muscles. The aids for the canter pirouette are the same as the walk turn. Never lose focus on the fluidity of transitions and acceptance of the aids. Finally, Taffy and I demonstrate a walk turn on the haunches that first shows up at second level, then we move on to walk pirouettes that are required at fourth level and above. You will see the difference between the two turns is the amount of collection. In the turn on the haunches, the hind feet step forward, covering the ground more, and the circumference of the half circle made by the back feet is larger than it is in a pirouette. In a walk pirouette, the hind feet should step up and down with activity and keep the circumference limited to an area no larger than the size of a dinner plate. I hope I've been able to demonstrate the importance of taking time to correctly train walk turns and how what may seem very basic, like correctly riding a small circle, is important preparation for canter pirouettes. Always remember, precision in early training sets the standard for the future. For more information about me, Dancing Horse Farm, or my horses, Taffy and Dreamy, please visit my website. I can also be found on Facebook at Jennifer Sappington Truett. I do travel to teach clinics, and I'm happy to discuss this possibility with anyone interested in learning more about the topics I present here. I leave you now with my farm and life motto, Dare to Dream.